Hello, my friends. I'm so glad you can be here with me today. I'm going to talk about what I call my Garden of Eden. This was a Friday day at work, and I dreaded weekends because I would feel so lonely, except for the day I was at church on Sunday. And so I prayed and I asked God for a lifelong companion. This was about 8 months after coming back to God. That very day, my friend and we were running through our workplace to get to our car because it was lunchtime, and we ran into another friend of mine who was with her brother, and we stopped, and she introduced us to her brother, and then we kept on running to the car so we could go get lunch and get back on time. Well, I noticed this young man was cute, but he looked very young to me. After that afternoon, my friend walked up to me and wanted to know if I would be willing to go out on a date with our other friend's brother. And I said no, I'm sure he was way too young for me. And so she left and she came back and she said, no, you're the same age. So I told her, sure. That way, at least I wouldn't feel so lonely this weekend. So he called me. We had a wonderful talk and we set up a time for our date. And we went out and we had the most wonderful date that I had ever had. We talked, we laughed, we joked, and we shared real feelings. This was something I had not done in a very long time, almost 3 years. Later that evening after dinner, we went to the officers' club where there was dancing, and he asked me to dance. When he took me in his arms, chills went all over me. I thought this was the sexiest man I had ever met. And I can honestly say that I think I fell in love at first dance. 5 days later, he asked me to marry him. And I accepted, and then he bought me an engagement ring beyond anything I had ever expected to own. We started planning our wedding, and we did this together. It was a very, very cheap wedding, but I thought it was absolutely wonderful. One day on the way home from work, I started getting doubts about marrying him. I was afraid I was out of the will of God. And if there's anything in the world I didn't want to be, is out of the will of God. I never, ever wanted another divorce in my entire life. So I cried all the way to my sister's house, who was babysitting for me. And when I got to her house and opened the door, she ran to the door and said, God had a message for me. He said, you are in the will of God and should marry Ronnie. Now, my sister had no idea what my feelings were, what my doubts were. She knew nothing. But I was still worried, so I went ahead, and when I got home, I told God, I said, God, I want you to talk to me through your word. I want to open the Bible and you give me a message. Now, I don't know if any of y'all have ever done this. I've done this on several occasions. Right now, it seems a little bizarre, but back then, it just seemed normal. And I closed my eyes and opened the Bible. And the scripture that my finger went to is, I have not withheld the request of thy lips. I have given thee thy heart's desire. I realized I had asked God for a lifelong companion 1 hour before I met Ronnie. So we got married and we went on our honeymoon. I can honestly say our honeymoon has been the only perfect days of my life. During our honeymoon, we went to a cavern in Texas. I had never been into a cavern. I did not know what it was like. It was very slimy. It was awesome. I thought it was an awesome experience. But after leaving that cavern and getting ready to leave, I noticed that I had lost my necklace. I had the chain, but I didn't have the cross. On Valentine's Day, Ronnie had given me a cross that's only probably 1 inch high by 3/4 inch, very, very small, had little diamonds in it. It was wonderful. And I realized I didn't have it. So I went to the counter and I told the cashier what I had lost, and she took my name and number. Now I knew for anyone to find a 1 inch cross in a slimy cavern was absolutely ridiculous. So I realized that I would never get that back. 2 weeks after our honeymoon, I got a package in the mail, and it was my cross necklace that Ronnie had bought me, which was the first gift he had ever bought me. I thanked God for helping me get that cross back. I mean, I feel like that was a miracle. It was such an awesome experience. I feel like after we returned home from my only 7 perfect days of my life, that I felt like I had entered hell. Hell on earth. I'm going to be talking about this in my next video. I hope you can come back and be with me. I do appreciate each and every one of you for taking your time to come and listen to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a beautiful day, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.